Dear learners, welcome to Metro Talent Next. So already we have completed four technologies in Milestone 3. The next one is JavaScript. Commencing with that. So JavaScript had been introduced to convert HTML into DHTML. HTML will ready to produce our static web pages. To produce dynamic web pages, we need the support of a script language. So that is the reason why JavaScript was enabled. JavaScript is currently flavored with different types of bunches. So it's a lightweight object-oriented programming language. Moreover, the parsers in your browser will ready to adapt with this JavaScript. JavaScript has been uh, identified through this browser, Netscape Navigator browser, but before that, there's a browser called Mosaic. So from that section only, the browser engine is ready to adapt to the JavaScript. Even there is a name called LiveScript. That's also another name for JavaScript, which was being initially called by the developers and programmers. But later, due to the commercial copyrights issue, it has been converted and to be named as JavaScript. So that's the thing behind JavaScript. So all the modern web applications will directly available without reloading. So you know about that. The role of JavaScript is very important in Ajax. Okay, so without reloading the complete environment, only data will be refreshed. For Ajax, the complete support is given by JavaScript only, right? So JavaScript could be the prerequisite for them in that case. So that's the simple introduction about JavaScript. What are the futures it could have? So ultimately, all the web browsers will have the support of JavaScript because DHTML could be identified over on that. So it is a structured programming language like our C, as well as um, some of the data types are not available here, but you have to typecast and use it in a proper way. So main thing is it's a case sensitive. So all the web browsers have its control on this. Okay, so these are some of the features that I want to quote here. But apart from this, the reason why most of the browsers are adopting JavaScript is the term called shelf, SHELF, shelf the components. So what are the new components that you are going to develop based upon any web technology that can be easily linked or interfaced with JavaScript? That's the reason why JavaScript is still in the market, okay, with different flags. So that's the idea. So this is a basic example for our JavaScript. So within a HTML program, I could able to write a scripting. Okay. So here you could able to see that I wrote a function message with MSG, which is inside a scripting tag. So that could be the complete orientation. So script type equal to text slash JavaScript, that should be given within double quotes. So from that, where the script tag is ready to close, there it's available with the corresponding script will close. Okay, so that has to be given within the head tag. If I'm going to give the JavaScript segment, that should be given within the script tag. This script tag must be available within the head tag of the HTML program. So that is the uh, orientation that you need to take up with. So that message can be called through the input tag. Okay, so you could able to see that in the input tag, input type equal to button. So for that input, for that button, I need a value. That means a label value equal to click. So a button will be created using the label click. So when I'm going to click that button, the event handling, when I'm going to click the button, what need to be happened? That event driven code is available within MSG. Okay, so when I'm going to click that button, I will get a alert message saying hello Java T point. Okay, so likewise I will get a interesting message on that. Okay, so that's the way. So this program will create a button. When I'm going to click that button, it is ready to show me an alert message. So that's the first basic JavaScript program that we need to understand. So the structure of the program will be like this. You have to write the JavaScript code within the script tag. That script tag must be available within the head tag, right? So that's the commercial way of writing the scripting. And best practice is, right, you have to write like this. You have to write the external JavaScript file. You have to write the JavaScript separately and design separately, right? Design and the code are being separated. So as we are all ready to work with MVC architecture, so we need to follow in this way. Okay. So message.js, that's a separate file. Index.html is a separate file. So it's your responsibility to call the JavaScript file within the HTML file instead of writing the HTML file within the same program. So this could be an example, the same example that we have used over there. Okay, the message is being over there. The function is the keyword. So I wrote a simple function that is ready to reflect the message is given within the alert method. Okay. So how to call this file name is message.js. JS represents JavaScript. How to call this message.js inside my HTML program. So this is the way that I need to call. Okay. So again, I am giving the same script tag within the head tag only, but instead of I'm extending the tag. Okay. So the attribute src will help me to call the message.js. If both the programs are available in the same folder, so no need to give the complete path of the uh, JavaScript file. So if it is going to be available somewhere else, so it could be given the complete path. If you are going to access it from the any stored server, in that case, you could be able to give /message.js, right? So this could be the professional way of writing a JavaScript program. Okay, so script tag must be available. The same program only. The script tag must be available in the head tag as usual. But the thing is, the entire code will be available in a separate file, which can be called inside this HTML program using the tag script via the attribute src. So within the double quotes, I have to mention the name of the file if the file is available in the same folder where my HTML file is available. If it is available in some other location, I have to give the complete path, absolute path. I have to give. So please remember on that. So comment statement in JavaScript. So how it would be. So likewise in all programming languages, it's having the support like double slash will serve as a single line comment, and multi-line command will be given by / asterisk. Again, by closing with that, I need to close with the asterisk slash. So instead of most of the flavored programming languages like C, C++, and Java, the same functionality will ready to work for my single line command statement and multi-line command statement in JavaScript also. Next, how we are going to use variables in JavaScript. So we have a raw classification on this, right? Where is the declaration which is ready to declare any variable. Okay, so where represents it could be not like a data type, right? Might be I could able to use the term raw data type. That also I could able to use here. But if I want to use as it is, so where x equal to 10, where represents my variable, that is the syntax. Okay, so I have declared x and y, and I am adding x with y. Finally, I am displaying the value of z. Right. This is a way to use the variable. So the usage of this variable is common for all type of data. So see here, I have used a global variable. I have two functions, a and b. Okay. So I declared a variable globally. I have not used that variable data within any of a and b, but I have used it globally, and I have accessed it to my function. That's all. Finally, all those functions are called. Okay. How to call a JavaScript function? The same way how we will call in our normal structured languages. Likewise, we could be able to access it using that method. So A is called, B is called. Both of them will ready to return me the value 200 and 200. So by declaring a value globally, I can able to access within the function also. So that's also an feature that we need to know on JavaScript. Data types which are available in our JavaScript. Okay, so primitive and derived. Likewise, again I could able to convey here. So primitive means that string that we have to give within double quotes. Example, the name hello or RIT that can be within double quotes. So number is ready to represent the numerical values, and Boolean values which is ready to work on false or true. Okay, so undefined means if I want to represent any value that cannot be represented, in that case I have to use the data type undefined. And null, so if I need to represent that it don't have any value, okay, it don't have any value, uh, not representation, in that case you have to use undefined. Okay, it don't have any value, in that case I need to represent for using null. It could be applicable for string as well as for any numbers. Okay, so while we are coming for derived data types, we have three. What are they? Object. So here object, they are ready to use it as a database because it can be used as an instance variable. That's the reason why the term object has been given over there. Array, so I could able to use a similar type of data using this derived data type. Next, reg exp, that it is ready to represent my regular expression, right? Pattern matching. So if I need to fetch some specific pattern of data available in my file, so through file programming is also possible in my JavaScript. Okay, so these are all the data types available in our JavaScript. So primitive and I could able to use the term instead of derived, non-primitive. Okay, primitive and non-primitive. Primitive we will have string, number, boolean, undefined and null. The difference between undefined and null is undefined means I don't have any value. Okay, so null represents I could not able to. So undefined represents it cannot able to represent that value. Null represents I don't have any value at all. So that's the main difference between undefined and null. So regarding the non-primitive, we have three: object, array, and regular expression. So that is the idea behind this. So next, while we are coming for arithmetic operators, we have addition, subtraction. Likewise, in all our previous set of programming languages, what we have learned, the same category will come, but some of the categories will be shifted with based upon their flexibility and usage. Here you could be able to see increment and decrement operators are being ported for arithmetic operators. Okay, so you could be able to see the example, the normal way of working with operations, plus, minus, asterisk, slash, but percentage will ready to yield my remainder, slash will work for quotient. Okay, so plus plus. So you could be able to work with both pre-increment and post increment, pre-decrement and post decrement. The usage of plus plus is nothing but on pre-increment it has to increment and it will assign. Post increment means what it will do. So it will assign and then it will increment. So that's the main difference between pre-increment and post increment. Likewise for decrement also, pre-decrement means so first it will uh, decrement the value, it will subtract the value, then it will assign. Post means it will assign, then it will subtract the value. So there are two operations are involved on this increment and decrement operators. So please remember that. Comparison operators, right? So comparison operators that if I need to work with, see that here, double equal to and triple equal to, that's also identical. Okay, so not only on relies on data but depends on data type also. So that's what triple equal to is also applicable here. So not equal to, again I could able to see not identical, right? It's like something called uh, what could I able to convey it needs to belong congruent to, so that can be represented using not double equal to. Okay, so less than equal to, greater than equal to. So all those operators are as usual available. The only new things that what you are seeing here, identical and not identical. Identical means triple equal to. Okay, not identical means that it could not be able to match with the corresponding thing. So left side and right side values, it belongs to both. Data also must be equal. Type of data also must be equal. That's the idea here. Okay. So if it is not going to equal, then it is going to retrieve me the false value. So please remember on this comparison operators. Bitwise operators, so as usual what we have flavored in Java, the same thing, AND table we have to use, OR table we have to use, XOR table we have to use, NOT, so we have to complement it. So left shift, so what we will do, the given number multiplied by 2 to the power number of bits to be shifted, that is the value will come here. Right shift and right shift field 0 operator, both of them will behave as it is when we are going to work with the positive numbers. Okay, so ultimately how they will behave, so the given number into 2 to the given number divided by 2 to the power number of bits to be shifted, so that's the value which could be yielded. When it's going to work with a negative number, I need to represent it in 16 bits complete number, given decimal number will be represented in terms of 16-bit binary number. In the 16-bit binary number, I have to rotate from MSB to LSB. So while I'm going to rotate, the number which could reach on LSB need to be converted into 0 and refilled it. So finally, I have to convert my the available binary number to decimal number. That could be the resultant one when I'm going to work with a bitwise right shift with 0 on negative numbers. Already we have seen a detailed study in Java also, the same pattern that it will work. Logical operators, so we have logical AND, logical OR and logical NOT. So that there would be a difference over there. So here bitwise AND OR could be represented using single ampersand, single pipe symbol. So NOT represents your tilde symbol, okay, tilde. So here you have NOT represents logical NOT is exclamation mark and OR is going to be double pipe symbol and logical AND double ampersand. So already when the same AND or NOT table only, when both the conditions are ready to be available as true, it will yield as true. So at least if any one of the conditions is going to false, ultimately completely they will return false only. Okay, so in regarding R, that at least any one of the conditions is going to be true, it is ready to yield me the true value. So that's a major thing. So it is ready to negate the logical NOT operator will negate my value. Assignment operators. Assignment operators. That's what we will be seeing as arithmetic assignment operators. So along with the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modular division, we have equal to. So value available in the left side will be right side will be stored in the left side variable. So that could be the an interesting thing to learn with the arithmetic assign. So if it is a plus equal to b means, so it is going it's equal to a equal to a plus b. So that's the way a shorthand notation operator is being followed in our assignment operation. Special operators. So this is the thing that you need to have a view, okay, because you have some MCQs from this section. Okay, so we have a ternary operator. So we will be feel ready to work on that. So whenever the condition is being evaluated, if it is true, the content after question mark will get to be executed. If it is false, the content after colon will get to be executed. That is the range. Comma operator, when I'm going to work with more than one expression, as we evaluated as a single, we have to use this comma operator. Delete operator, right? So something that being derived for our memory management actually. So it is ready to delete the property of an object that what we have created using the new keyword. Okay, new is ready to create a instance for my or ready to allocate the memory dynamically for an object. So that's what new keyword will do. Okay, so in will check my availability of the content in the corresponding object. Instance of, which is ready to equate that whether this object belongs to that class only. So the same instance of operator that what we are following in Java, it will return either true or false. Okay, type of, so it will ready to convey me the corresponding castle type of the object. Okay, so ready to return me that. Void, it returns any null value, the same type of data. I can typecast and I can use it. Okay, even the type. Yield. So what is this yield? Here we are going to use a generator function. So for that, the return value should not be returned to the main method or returned to other function using not using return keyword. Instead of that, we are going to use the yield keyword. So you will see it very detailed in the next slide. So this is the usage of the yield keyword. Here you could able to see a while loop is rotating. I'm using the keyword yield I++. I have not specifically mentioned return, right? And see that you could able to identify asterisks after function keyword. Show prices is the name of the function. I'm passing an argument I. So that star represents that could be a generator function. Okay, so it's a notation and it's a new thing that you are learning here. So yield, the purpose of yield keyword is so it is ready to return any generator function values. So generator function is nothing but that is mentioned using asterisks. Okay, so normally when I'm going to create any applications that will return dynamic values, that should be uh, that should be mentioned as the generator function. So that's the usage of the generator function. Whenever I am going to use generator function which will return the value, I should not use the keyword return. I have to use the keyword yield. Okay, so here I am passing an argument 0. So by that GFG is being declared as a constant. So when it is ready to retrieve values from the functions, here I will be using the corresponding value. What I am retrieving is available in the variable GFG. GFG dot next will ready to retrieve me the value that was being given by the while loop. So likewise it is ready to give over that. So I will get 0, 1, 2 through the methods gfg dot next dot value, and you could able to see the values are being retrieved through stat, right? It is ready to remember what is happening in the previous iteration. The role of static keyword is being projected along with the written keyword that is being given over through this yield keyword in JavaScript. So please remember that. That's an interesting one on this JavaScript yield keyword. Please remember. So whenever we are going to use generator function, yield keyword must be used. Okay. Return keyword is being replaced using this yield keyword only in generator function. So please remember that. Normal if statement, right? We are what we are viewing in other programming languages and packages the same way. If within parentheses I have to mention my condition using relational operators. So otherwise combining relational and normal operators. So if the condition is true, it will get into the if block. Otherwise, it will skip over on that. If else, so the same way, the same type of syntax. If the condition is evaluated, it will go to the block after the if section. Otherwise, it will go to the else block. Okay. So if the condition is true, it will go to the block which is available after if. Otherwise, it will go to the block available after else. So that's a if else is being practiced over here. If else if, okay, so it could be your else if ladder. So in that case, so the same way, so when I'm going to work with the multiple conditions, this else if ladder will be worked. So if the condition is not satisfied, it will move towards corresponding consecutive ifs, right? If any one of the ifs are going to be satisfied, it will execute the body of the if and it will come out. If none of the ifs are being satisfied, finally it will execute the block which is available within the else block. So that's what if else if. A very simple usage like in our all programming languages, right? Next is switch, the same way that how we will use our switch case, right? So here I could able to pass my argument as a character as well as a string as well as you could able to use as a number. All these three options are available for our switch case in JavaScript: string, number, character. All those three things can be passed as an argument. When which case is going to be matched, that case will be executed and it will come out of the switch loop. Otherwise, which case is going to be missed till the time it will traverse the corresponding loop and it will execute. If none of the cases are being matched, in that case, it will execute the content available within the default block and it will come outside. So that's the idea of switch case. Likewise, in our programming languages and iterative loop structures. That's what we'll be seeing. See that the specialty of this one is instead of using next line, I could able to integrate my HTML tags here itself, right? So it is ready to give me the break tag. So it is going to print 1 to 5 as usual syntax of our for loop, right? I have not declared any data type here because by default I will work for the raw data type var. Okay, so a simple syntax that is ready to iterate and it will print 1 to 5 using this for loop. Likewise, all iterative control structures. So here we have while it is ready to print from 11 to 15. Okay, so the same way, so I am using increment operator while loop is being rotated. Now you could able to understand. See here, the rotation is happening through I plus plus. Okay, so that is the way that we are moving forward while the learning process of our iterative control structures. Next, while we are moving with the do while loop. So till now we have seen for, while, do while. So in that case, we are moving forward. The next scripting language towards on that, what we have seen in our previous and past programming languages, the same way it is applicable here. Difference between while and do while. So even though condition is false, at least once our do while will execute. So this iterative code will work and it will print 21 to 25. So that is uh, the output for this. See, you need to observe a flavor over here such that I could able to incorporate my HTML tag within the script itself. That's an interesting one. That's called, even we could able to use the term client side validation, right? So that's the term of a famous term of the JavaScript. That's what we are using here. Next, how to declare a function. Already we have used a function, but the proper syntax, that what we have tried. Function is the keyword, and the name of the function will be given as the corresponding message. And next, we have used the open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Within the curly brace, we have to write the code, right? So that can be called towards that function via the attribute of any controls, any UI controls, through the attribute value. Okay, through the attribute, the corresponding function call will be on the events. Okay, on click, on load. So likewise, a lot of events are there for that event, which is equated towards this function. So that's a simple way of writing the function. And in function, I could be able to pass arguments also. So here you could be able to see that I wrote a function which is ready to compute the cube of the given number. I am passing the argument from the on click event via the method is being called by passing the value. That value is being ready to reach over my script. That 4 will be passed, and cube of corresponding 4 will be returned in a message box. So alert of 4 cube, the 4 cube, the result of 4 cube will be displayed in a message box. So that's the idea behind this. So how a function will return a value? No need to specify any type of data, for the function. Okay, because function will handle, function keyword will handle that. So normally in other programming languages we will mention, so the data type, function name. Okay, so here we won't mention any data type, function name. That's all. So here you could be able to see that I'm using the return keyword. I'm returning a string. So if we want to return, so what I have to do, check in the script code how I am calling that. So document dot write off. Directly if you give function name, it will return the value what you have processed in your function. So this is the way to return a value. Okay, this is the way to return a value. No need to mention any return data type. It is enough to use return keyword that will be returned towards the function name itself. Okay, get info, it will be stored, because function name also will be used as an identifier. Okay, so that's the thing. So no need to typecast or do any other thing here. How to use function object? So from this place only actual JavaScript will ready to begin, because JavaScript fully dependable on objects, different types of objects what browsers will support. Okay, that's the thing. So here you could be able to see that I have created a add, that's a variable. Okay, it is equal to new function is the corresponding keyword I am using. What are all the arguments I'm going to pass? Num1 and num2. What is the operation need to be performed within the function? I need to perform num1 plus num2. That means the arguments which are received will get to be added. That's all. The entire logic has been given within that function. Okay, using the keyword function. Now, if I want to call this, I have to use that variable. Now, add will serve as the object for me. Add is the function object. Okay, so using that add, I am passing two values, 2 comma 5. So ultimately it will give me 7. Add of 2 comma 5. What this add has to do has to be mentioned using the keyword new and function. So within the keyword function, I could able to mention my logic. Whatever could be the logic. This is an example. Likewise, you see one more example. So here, what I am computing the power of x comma y, right? So variable POW has been assigned with the new, and the function is the keyword again, passing two arguments, comma, what it need to return. That must be within double quotes, return math dot power of first argument comma second argument. So it will compute 2 cube pertaining to this. So how I will call power of 2 cube. This power represents the variable what it need to compute. Okay. So the complete functionality is assigned over on the function object. Here the function object is power, right? So likewise I could able to express it in a very neat way. This is a new thing that what you are learning through JavaScript. This type of facility would not be available in the previous versions of the other languages. Later, most of the flavored languages are coming with their lambda expressions, right? So this could be the stage that we need to understand that function object is something relevant to our lambda expressions. So that's the idea to represent. So by this session that you have learned the basics which are necessary to write the codes using numbers, data type, and control structures and other classification of operators we have seen. So these are all things that we have seen in this class. So it is sufficient. So the basic way to execute a JavaScript program is type your program in a notepad, save the file name as .html. JavaScript code can be given separately or given within the head tag of using that script tag. So save the file as a file name.html and open the file in the browser. You will see the output. That's a simple way to see the output of the Java program. So that's the idea behind this. Thank you. We will see in the next session.